torch light and we can get started in earnest. Give me a second. Looks like Rudy's getting himself all comfy in his little bed there. All right, here we are. Let me see if I can adjust this just a little bit. Bring that just a little bit closer. Whoa. Oh, that looks pretty good. Well, that's good. All right. Hey there, welcome. My name's Kurt. And I'm going to, oh, that's pretty good right there. Maybe too much flame. Let's see, maybe right over here. Move this thing closer. Well, that's probably pretty good right there. Hi. So, I'm starting this live in honor of my friend Mully in Japan. If you're not aware, Mully does this pretty much every day, maybe twice a day, on his commute back and forth from his job. And I don't catch it very often, but I always enjoy it. It's always nice to hear what's going on in Mully's life. So I thought I'd do this tonight, because today was kind of a significant day. And cheers to you, by the way. My glass of wine for the night and my tin cup. Or maybe it's steel. Let's see, what did I want to talk about tonight? Something happened at work that was interesting. The state of the move, changing relationship with Rudy the dog. And my frame of mind. Okay. First, I'm gonna bring it a little closer. There, that'll work. All right. Well, today was a strange day for work. I'm struggling a little bit with this. Have you ever seen that movie with Jack Nicholson called about Schmidt? And Schmidt is just an average guy doing his average life at the end of his career, and he's in middle management for the company, for an insurance company. I think it's in Ohio or something like that. Some, middle America town, middle America city. Successful in what he did in his life, but he's at the end of his career and he's retiring. And there's a scene at the beginning when he's retiring, and the younger man that's going to replace him in his position is coming in, and Schmidt has prepared all of the boxes, his lifetime's worth of documents relative to his job. And he's got those all prepared, and he's going to give the office over to this new younger man. And he says, and here's the office, and here's all the boxes you'll need of all the documents I've kept that were important to me over the course of my career. And then he goes away, and the man wishes him well. And I think he goes out to lunch with his boss or something like that, final lunch. And when he comes back and he finally leaves the building, as he leaves and goes out the back, he goes by the dumpsters. And he notices piled next to the dumpster there all of the boxes that he had left behind for the man that was going to replace him, who had summarily, after Schmidt had left, just had them, or did himself move them down to throw them all away. Nonsense, irrelevant. It's a new man and new place, new position. That's how it feels a little bit for me right now, 44 days out. And that all happened in one meeting today, where I was so peripheral, although this is a meeting that just a month ago I would have been leading the meeting. I was so peripheral to it that my comments, the few times that I spoke up, I could sense I was on the other side of the comment of, when you get to be an old person and your comments aren't taken seriously anymore, they're kind of irrelevant. There was that. And I could tell that. I made a joke, which fell flat because people didn't understand the context of the joke. It was an old man's joke. And then at the end, I had been taking notes while others were talking because my place had kind of shifted to the back seat. And I shared the notes with the guy that was leading the meeting and taking the notes, which used to be me. As recently as 4 weeks ago, that would have been me. I took a snapshot of my notes and sent it to him and never heard back. There was one other thing that happened, not in that meeting, another one, but that I'm not ready to talk about. But very clearly, and without my intent or my will, against my will, I have become work irrelevant. Irrelevant to work. Now, it's only been 4 weeks since this has happened. And I know that I haven't changed. My intellect is still sharp and keen. My understanding of circumstances is still relevant. I know what's going on. I know the score. I'm at the top of my game in terms of my skill set of what I do. So why is it that I'm no longer relevant? It must be because I'm a short timer. And others see that and recognize that. Not just that. Not that they see that and recognize that. They've placed that upon me. This isn't blame. This is just me imagining what might have happened. They're learning to move on past me. And I will confess, I have coasted a little bit in the last 4 weeks. Just a little bit. Thinking to myself, when a problem comes up, you know, this would really be a good problem for Ted to tackle. I'll keep my mouth shut, let Ted speak up. There's a pregnant pause where Ted's waiting for me to step in. Ted even sent me a message at one point saying, this was a couple weeks ago, I sure do miss having you in the meetings because I'm not even getting invited to meetings anymore. Meetings are happening without me. People are like adding all the people and who they're going to CC them, in optional attendees, but they're forgetting to include me because I'm becoming forgotten at work. So if it's not me, and I'm not blaming again, but it's others who are, well, it is me. It is me because 4 weeks ago I literally took a step back from everything. So I kicked this off, and people took a cue. And rather than pressure me to assert my role, which it still is my role, I still am the project manager, they accept their fate without me, right? We even had one meeting today where it was decided to have a meeting to decide what was going to happen to the project and the people after I'm gone. But honestly, it's all already started. So this took me by surprise today. I didn't expect this or see this coming. I thought that I would be vital and active until the end. And you know what? Okay, here's an interesting thing. This is the same organization that I quit, same job that I quit. What was it, in 2000, just before the start of COVID? I quit to go work at another place, the city of Ventura. And when that happened, I was engaged right up to the very end. And then I left, and then I started my new job. Why is this different? I know why. It's me. Okay, before, when I quit my job, the same job that I have now, and went to the city of Ventura, I did so with an understanding that I was not ending my career, but transitioning my career and even ramping my career up. I was entering the realm of management. What the hell is that? Something big moving right out there. Anyway, so that was it. So when I came to the end of my career, I see a lot of people have just joined. So if you're not where I'm talking about a strange circumstance that's happening at work where I'm being left behind. When I did this same thing in 2000, and I gave notice that I was quitting my job, came to the end of my job, and then I left, and then I had a week off, and then I started my new job in Ventura, which was a huge step up in terms of my career, taking me into the realm of management. So as I was completing my current job at the place where I work now, I didn't slow down one bit. I knew that I was like launching into orbit, right? So I full bore, because I'm a full bore kind of worker, full bore all the way to the end. And then I said, goodbye, see ya. And off I went to the next level, to the new career. And then I stayed there for 2 years and then came back to the job that I'm in now. So the difference was that even though I gave my notice in that job, I didn't treat that job like I was retiring. I treated it like I was finishing my duty until the end. And that's the thing. My duty never flagged through all of that. So no one had any reason to treat me as anything other than someone who was leaving the organization. They still saw me as the project manager. The difference now is that beginning about 4 weeks ago, I consciously began to step back. not from my job, but from my career. Stepping away from the engagement. For example, another thing that's going on that's very interesting is I get constant, requests or offers for training, for opportunities to learn new things relative to my career. Even I get solicitations from headhunters for other positions, and I respond now to those things by saying, you know, thank you for writing, but I'm retiring this year and I'm not interested. I'm telling them I don't need any more skills. I don't need any more jobs. Thank you very much. And I clearly have begun doing the same thing with my coworkers in terms of saying, thank you very much. I'm going to retreat into the shadows a little bit. And they have taken a hint or taken a clue and said, well, okay, well, Kurt's away. In fact, one guy even said it today. He said, one person who I respect a lot, a customer actually, who was like, he actually said it out loud in that same meeting without talking about specifics. He said, why would I, he said, he didn't say it that way. He said, I'm really hesitant to engage Kurt in this with only 8 weeks left. It's actually 10. And that's when it struck me when he said that, because he and I respect one another, and I know he knows I can do my thing and he can do his, and I see it the same way. So he wasn't saying that because he didn't think that I was someone that was worth engaging. He simply said it because I'm someone that is no longer worth engaging because I will not be around, and I can't be relied upon to see it through longer than, in his words, 8 weeks, which is going to go like that, even though it's 10. So after that meeting, I shut down the Teams meeting and sat there for a second, and I asked myself, what happened here? How did I suddenly become this old man that is telling jokes in a meeting that no one laughs at, saying things that seem irrelevant, sharing meeting notes that are being ignored? Have I changed in 4 weeks? Have I become an old, incompetent, irrelevant man? Yes and no. No, in fact, I still have all my faculties about me. But yes, in principle, I am old. I am irrelevant by virtue of the fact that I have made myself such by deciding to leave and by actively, like I said 4 weeks ago, beginning to step back. Literally. Usually I'm at the front of all activity, stepping back and letting other people take the lead. And the interesting thing is that everybody has stepped forward to fill the void that I've left behind, which left me with a still more sobering thought, which is that I can so easily be replaced. There's nothing special about me in particular with regard to my job. The team has stepped forward. They're doing the things that I previously thought that couldn't be done, wouldn't be done without me. They are all being done. I truly am irrelevant and old and unneeded anymore. But you know what the interesting thing is? We all are. So the relevance and the necessity that we think, excuse me, that we think we bring to the table, uniquely ours, is only a fraction of what we actually think it is. Like Schmidt, when I opened up this video, like myself, there's plenty ready to take our place. In fact, another interesting thought that happened today was I bookmarked the day with 2 events that were very interesting. The first one was the fact that at the start, I work for a large organization, and at the start of the day, there were 3 announcements in my email of new people that just got hired, and the HR sends out these little messages or these emails to the whole organization with a photo, their background and all, and I always make it a point to forward that message to that person. Whenever I get a new hire request or a promotion, I always forward that message to that person, and I say, hello, whatever their name is, Schmidt, you know, welcome to the organization. And I say, Kurt, and I just say that. I want to make them feel welcome in our organization. So I always make that effort. If it's a promotion, I say, hello, Schmidt, congratulations on the promotion, or whatever it is. This morning, there were 3 of those. And I started my day by forwarding to each of them with the aforementioned, canned message. So I don't know these people, right? I just, here I am. Hi, welcome. I'm glad you're here. All 3 of them responded back with an eager gratitude, because I just can imagine how that must feel, right, to be new in a big organization like that, not knowing your place. Well, I know what it's like. I've done that, 3 times now since I came back to America. It's scary and it's hard, and to have someone, a stranger from the organization, reach out to you, especially someone in a a relatively senior position, as a project manager. It's comforting, right? Hey, well, maybe I am welcome here. Maybe I do have a chance. This BSA3 as project managers welcome me to the organization. And I've always gone out of my way to do that. So I bookmarked the day. I bookended the day is what I did. So the start of the day by welcoming 3 new faces to the organization. Younger faces, ambitious faces, faces that returned my messages almost immediately with a hearty, thank you so much. It's great to be here. You could just feel the ambition in their email. And then at the end of the day, that meeting I've been talking about this whole time, where I recognized my irrelevance. As relevant as I still am, my intellect is no less keen. My capabilities are no less sharp or copious. It is my ambition that has failed. My effort. I've given up. That's the word. 2 words. Given up. I've given up. I am now the exact opposite of what those 3 men were, that I sent the well wishes to this morning. Because I've given up my career. Decided to give up my career. In my mind, have walked away from it. Just a second, we'll throw another log on the fire. So, excuse me, allergies. So that dovetails into another thought, which is, what next? Because I already sense what's happening. Now that I've let go of the machine, of which I was, pressing for 40 years against that machine, using my body and my mind on it, keeping strong as a result. Now that I've let go of the machine and I'm stepping back, and others are swarming in, those 3 younger men today that I welcomed are swarming in to take my place. Capable men will take my place. The immediate consequence of that is that I will begin to atrophy my muscles, literally, in my mind, and my social capabilities. Will begin to fade as much as my relevance. It's already started. Witness the fact that I said about the joke. I have never, in all my career, and I'm a joke teller in work, told a joke that didn't get a laugh. But today I did. I told a joke that nobody got because it was an old man's joke. I am becoming an old man now that I have, and I sense it in just the last 4 weeks. The transition has occurred. So now I've got this curious thing. It's like, well, gee, what's next? And I realized that if I don't have something to transition to some other machine to take up the arms against, to press and pull and churn at, and to keep strong and mentally acute, then I will fail fast. I will become as irrelevant to my family as I clearly have already become to my colleagues on my project. I realized that this afternoon driving back from Julian with little Rudy. And I said, well, Kurt, you need to attend to that. And the other voice in my head said, you are, dude. Don't worry about it. You got that covered. And that is my identity as softypapa back in Japan that I will take up as my full-time avocation with as much energy and ambition as what I've done in my career as a project manager. So that led me then to still another thought, which is to think about those that have nothing to turn to, that enter retirement as the trap of leisure that it may be, that almost like a frog boiling in a slowly heated pot on the stove, feels comfortable and warm and safe and so sweet, and not sweet, but satisfying, but all the while is destroying and leading to the end. I wonder when it's too late to escape that fate. Maybe 35. Yeah, about age 35. I think we've got till about age 35 to find ourselves, what we're going to be. Now, doesn't mean you actually know what it is, but at least you know which direction it is. You can get out the compass and find the bearing to the thing that's us, right? Okay, it's over there to the bearing northeast. As long as I keep up by age 35, as long as you keep on that course, you may find it. But if you don't even have a compass heading by 35 or 36 or 37, then I wish you luck. Although maybe you'll be like those that just don't have anything that they need in that capacity. Hello, Enright. Hi there. So I think I've talked enough about that situation at work. Oh, you may wonder, what am I going to do about it? Nothing. In fact, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to be proactive. I'm going to shut my damn camera off in my meetings. I'm kind of in an organization of camera off people. I think I'm kind of notorious as that one guy that keeps his camera on in every meeting. It's like a principle in me. It's like I don't know, I can't quite describe it. It's me and Juan. Juan is the same way. And Gary does the same thing too. The three of us. Every meeting, we're a big organization. If we cross paths at a meeting, there would be, if the three of us are there, or two of us are there, we're the two with the camera on. And I've decided now, after thinking about it today, that I'm not going to fight this irrelevance. I'm going to embrace it. And I've got, as of today's complete, as of beginning tomorrow, I have 43 work days left in my career. I'm going to show up for those days. I've never, ever in my life been a show up kind of employee. But it's the right thing to do. Because the organization I don't know how to say this without sounding like I'm flattering myself. The organization needs to get on without me. Well, I guess that is flattering. And I do think I do a good job. I do an excellent job. I do a phenomenal job, in fact. 10 years ago, I wouldn't have said that. 10 years ago, I would have said I'm lucky to be here. But I really know what I'm doing now. But they need to get on without me. So I need to show up at these meetings, turn off my camera, keep the mic open, and let someone else lead. And only respond when summoned or asked of my opinion or something, or asked to do something, and gladly, readily do any of that. And I'll let my mind live elsewhere in the future that's coming. My new life with my wife in Japan. I'm not going to go down with the ship. I'm going to abandon ship. And Rich thinks, says, I think there's also a lot of things going on that may be very distracting, which may influence people's perceptions. The world is not lighthearted right now. I say, keep joking. It's needed. Yeah, that's true, but that hasn't impacted, those factors aren't the things that have changed in the last 4 weeks. Those have been, factors going on for a long time. What I'm trying to figure out is why I'm suddenly not needed. I'm sorry to make this about me, but it's my life. I'm trying to figure out why I'm no longer needed. I mean, nothing like this meeting today. They didn't need me. My jokes weren't funny. My notes weren't even acknowledged. I have become Schmidt. And it's better that I recognize that that's the case. And it's still better yet that I recognize that that's the right thing. This is a good thing, in fact. Because I'm going to be gone in 43 days. And it would be a shame if I left them hanging. Better if I just kind of slowly fade away now. So, starting tomorrow, camera off, microphone on, attention, so there. Someone calls out my name, I'll answer. Otherwise, I'll let the others do it. And day by day, I will slowly disappear. And that's a good thing. And I'll disappear into not oblivion, but into my next life, which I will spend my time readily anticipating and ramping up for. Okay, I don't have any stones, but that would have been one of 3 stones that I wanted to talk about. The other stones were, one of them was Rudy, my little white dog. My relationship with him has changed so much. With Ollie gone, I have more time to attend to Rudy. Ollie was is a very attention-needing dog. And I didn't realize just how much attention I was giving to Ollie, just because he demands it at the expense of Rudy. But now that Ollie's gone, I'm able to focus all my attention on little Rudy. And I realized he's a challenging dog. He's a difficult dog. He's a strange dog. But I feel a little bad that I was neglecting him, so to speak, in a way, because of Ollie needing so much attention. But now Rudy's got my all, and I'm not going to let that change. When we get back to Japan, I'll leave Ollie to Yumiko's ministrations, and Rudy will be my dog. Strange, how so? Strange with regard to what? And right. I don't know to what you are referring. If you elucidate a little more, I will elaborate a little more. I will answer. Oh, you said Rudy was a strange dog. Oh, he is. I don't know why. I'm gonna be blunt. He's sitting right behind me, but he doesn't understand. I'll be blunt. He's not your usual affectionate dog. He doesn't seem very smart, and he's prone to aggressive outbursts. Now, fortunately, he's only this big. So aggressive outbursts from a long-haired Chihuahua are sometimes more comical than threatening. But he's not your usual companionable dog. Strange in that way. Now, he went through a horrible situation, going through two, almost being killed twice in, kill shelters in the Los Angeles area. Just the experience that he had as a young dog was just horrible, enough to break anybody. And I keep a photo of him when he was first picked up off the mean street of Los Angeles, covered in oil from cowering under parked cars in the city streets. So he's gone through hell. He deserves to be strange. What I didn't realize, because Ollie needed so much attention and Rudy was always so distant, was that I feel bad about it now, that I wasn't giving Rudy the attention that he needed. But now that Ollie's gone to Japan, Rudy has all my attention, and he hasn't changed. He's still quote unquote strange, but he's my strange now. And I have been able in the last week, it's only been a week since Ollie's gone, to turn him around. Well, I started the process about a month ago, actually, socially, in terms of by giving him me, my love and my attention, and holding and comforting. His aggression has begun to diminish. I take him to Julian every evening and we walk the streets, which I could not have done when we first moved here. He would be attacking everybody. Now he can walk the streets just fine because I've trained him to know that I'm there. And this last weekend, for the first time, I actually took him into stores and we went shopping together. And he didn't growl at anybody. And so I'm starting to win over the bonding and the control from my strange little dog. So hopefully that answers your question. Okay, the last stone for tonight. Hold on, let me find a stone. I need to have a couple of stones over here. Okay, I got a couple. One left. These are interesting stones that I've picked up in the desert. Interesting mineral qualities. And I keep them on a table over there and I use them. I walk about between 5 and 8 miles a day here through the desert. Between meetings, I get up and I just walk the course. I have a course established through the desert. And every time I make a lap on the course, I move one stone I keep it over there, from one place to another. And that's how I keep track of how many laps I do. My requirement is at least 10 laps a day, which is about 5 miles. But I usually do, up to 15, so I get up to 8. So I just moved a couple of those stones over here. The last stone over here, I want to make this stone relative to the move. Kind of crossed a threshold today. I've been very anxious about the move through every step of the way. This transition from Japan, getting my family to Japan, and then now Ollie to Japan. It's it's been so much work, so many challenges, and so much money. Oh my God! I think so far, on this move to Japan, getting my family to Japan, I've easily spent over $70,000 moving us to Japan. I never imagined it would be so expensive. As a result, the stress has been phenomenal. Yeah, it is a lot of money. I didn't expect that. I think when we came from Japan to America, I think we spent $50,000 for that. So this is more expensive than coming over from Japan. But I kind of today crossed over a threshold. And it was really last night. I was having a long talk with ChatGPT Advanced Voice. We were talking about what's left to do. And I realized now that I have gone through the process of shipping Ollie to Japan, and that my plan is that I'm going to ship Rudy to Japan on the same mechanism, the same airline, using the same pet shipper. All I need to do is book myself a ticket on that same damn flight. It all fell into place because I'll hand off Rudy to the pet shipper at 5:30 p.m. on a Wednesday afternoon. And then the flight leaves at about 1 a.m. I'll have a rental car. To return the rental car to whatever rental agency I get it from. And then I'll take a shuttle over to the terminal, book myself in, and then I'll be on the same flight as Rudy. Now, the other thing that kept me up worrying is, what if I got on the same flight, but if there was some problem with the live cargo, which happens sometimes, and he gets pulled off the plane, and then I'm on the damn plane. Now what? And I'm on my way to Japan, and Rudy's sitting back in the terminal at LAX. Well, I talked this over with the pet shipper, and they told me they have a contingency for that. So what they do in that case, if the animal gets pulled off, they're the ones that get the call. They then pick up Rudy, put him in an overnight boarding, and then try for the next flight. This ANA flight, this All Nippon Airlines flight that we go on, is a nightly thing. So they just get him on the next night's flight. So all I'd have to do is stay in Tokyo overnight and pick him up the next day. So realizing that this was foolproof, largely because I chose to get the pet shipper. And if you're wondering, that was a huge part of the $70,000. That's $14,000 right there just to ship the dogs to Japan. But having that pet shipper and that level of care and expertise and contingency, that is worth the money. Well worth the money. It's best $14,000 I could have spent. So then that took a lot of relief off my shoulders. Then the other thing that took a relief off my shoulders was the realization that I can sell my wife's car and then just rent a damn car. So the only thing now that is on my mind is I need to get snow chains, because up here in this high desert, 4,600 feet, we expect snow. And I was warned that I need snow chains, so I need to go get that. But I can take care of that next weekend or something like that. And not that I expect snow in the week. So take that, the fact that I now feel like I have the last piece of the puzzle for the move in place, coupled with the fact that I've become irrelevant at work, so I can just let that go. And that yields a sense of peace, largely because I have someplace to go. I'm not like Schmidt in the aforementioned movie, who had no place to go. His identity was his work. Work is my vocation. My avocation is who I am as softypapa. I can do that, and I am that already. With that, I think I've said everything I wanted to say. If anybody has any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll shut it off and go to bed. Wish you all the best. Be safe. Oh, there's a question. Are you excited for the final steps of your transition? Yes. You know what I'm more excited, though, about is my new life ahead. It's like it's hard to believe that I'll be free. That I can wake up every day. I'll soon be able to wake up every day and have my day ahead of me to do anything I want, as I like to say, for as long as I want. It seems too good to be true. But I know it happens all the time. People my age retire every day and then spend the rest of their life doing what they want to do. I love that for you, though. Oh, thank you, and right. animating fact, though, is a remembrance. Good night, Kavashiro, and I'll finish with this thought. The animating fact, though, is to remember that this freedom comes at the tail end of life. And that if I'm lucky, I've got 3 to 10 years of good health maybe ahead of me, after which time my mind and body will begin to disintegrate towards death. So even though I'm entering a stage of freedom, it's a freedom that is at the end of a conveyor belt that dumps over the edge into the grave. Which is a sobering thought. And I hope any of you that see this, that are in your young years, keep that in mind. Prepare for this day. Save for your retirement, and then cherish every moment of that you have in retirement, because it's a relatively short period for most of us. Even though we may live into our 80s, doesn't mean we're necessarily going to have our well-being into our 80s. And well-being means a lot. So with that, I'll say goodnight. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Bye-bye.